So now we're recording again.
Okay.
Mm.
I see people in Congress like AOC who have big mouths. I don't see that they have much power. They get the headlines because of their radical ideas or their
The role of people like AOC is this as a face. They're more or less a distraction. She doesn't contribute any particularly groundbreaking ideas. She's a pop figure, and the fact that we have more populists and pop figures in politics now than we did before, and it's not as boring and dry as it used to be, is not a good indication. When all of your eggs are in the political basket, it's not a good basket to be in.
Yeah,
we start looking a lot like Eastern Europe. So I don't see a lot of hope for the world. I see that hope is, I see hope as incidental and in the long term irrelevant. In the cases that it happens, that sounds so bleak, but really, I don't.
Brian, I'm so sorry that you're only 27.
No, I'm 29.
29.
Right.
I'm so sorry that you're only 29.
Right. It'll get worse over time, I'm sure.
It will get worse. I've thought the same thing and thought along some of the same lines that you have.
Some things that will get better. Technology will continue to accelerate. Technology has passed its golden years. It is no longer a place that you go to be rid of the free world. You don't go to the internet to be like, oh, I want to take a break from the free world, from the real world. You go to the real world to take a break from the internet. It's turning into a hell. It's going to get worse as the power of technology accelerates further, and they can determine your consumer habits, and you become more of a Maxwell's demon comes into being, right? So
I've taken steps to
hopefully
fight against that, technological steps.
That will make you more of a pariah, ever increasingly, because normies are here.
But that is the way I've lived my whole life, as a pariah,
right?
As a misfit.
But the pariahs who figure this stuff out,
yeah,
they do not get to be part of the club that makes the decisions because they don't form suicide pacts, because they're rabble-rousers. And they are inherently not social climbers. Social climbers are.
You're right.
Takes a social climber to get in those seats, to occupy those seats.
You're right.
Right. So, I mean, how do you said a Machiavelli. You find somebody who is so darn good at their game that they win, and then they flip once they're in the position to where they can screw everybody. Is that what you do? That's how to win. I mean, I don't know if there is a solution to this. It's like, how do you solve checkmate? Well, there's no solution to that. There's positions in chess where there's checkmate in 3 moves, no matter which way you want to have it.
That's right, yes.
So I know because I play chess AI, and that's how they are, right? They are so inhumanly good. You can't you can't beat them. I think of it as I think evil has just grown to that extent. So what do? Do I go work for a conservative think tank and try to write the best darn articles I possibly can that'll be read by nobody? Or do I try to advise congressmen? Congressmen people don't make decisions here. It's the corporate people. Do you go into the business world and try to make a bunch of money so that you can then sway stuff like the MyPillow guy who gets sniped? The MyPillow guy had money. The Goya people, there are plenty of people who have old money who try to do the right thing, but just got ostracized and sniped.
The MyPillow guy is a buffoon. He doesn't know enough to keep his mouth shut. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't think he's an evil person. I think he speaks his mind. And he's not Machiavellian enough. I don't think he's evil. I don't think he is. I don't agree with his politics.
So
I think he's a buffoon.
The thing is about these standalone people is they're always buffoons, because you're not a buffoon. You're a buffoon until you're in a group of people. who can cover each other's idiocy.
Yes.
Because you select any of these social climbing idiots and pull them out of their position in life, and you put them somewhere else, and you will find that they are just as incapable as the average person.
That's correct.
There's nothing special about them.
Right.
But because they're in the cool kids club, the clique, they cover for each other's idiocies. Their mistakes are covered up. And if you stand against that, then all that everyone will see will just be your mistakes. That's what they'll go for. It's like a phalanx versus the Germanic guy. Like the Germanic warriors were better stand alone against the Romans. If you had a Roman against a Germanic warrior, the Germanic would win. However, the Romans worked much better as a cohesive unit, so they slaughtered the Germanics.
The one person who I can think of who was the perfect chess player worked his way up through the ranks of, I'm not going to say which organization or anything, of the organization that he was part of. He was nondescript, very tight-lipped, nondescript, team player. He was put in the position that he was in because the powers that be thought they could manipulate them.
This applies to both H.W. Bush and Stalin so far.
No.
Neither of those two.
He got into power. He's been in power since. He's just passed a constitutional amendment to stay in power. He's the president of the Russian Federation.
Oh, Vladimir Putin. I was thinking about Rob Lighthizer, too.
He was a nondescript apparatchik in the KGB or whatever succeeded the KGB. And so, oh, he's a nothing. He's going to be very easy to control and manipulate. He outsmarted them.
Putin is very loyal, too. He has a kind of prison loyalty about him. He's not a snitch. He covers for the oligarchs in Russia, the people who bought all of the Russian Federation stocks or traded potatoes for them and crap like that. Yeah.
He knew how to get what he wanted. Machiavelli.
I'm jealous of Russia for having a Putin. we don't have a Putin here. Man, Putin holds that nation together, though. That's the problem with strongmen, is that it's so natural for countries to fall into these disorderly, unstable states where the only people who can manage it are strongmen, and they stay in power for as long as they live, and then they die, and then it all goes to heck from there.
Well, once the Soviet Union fell and Yeltsin became president, Yeltsin was also a buffoon, drunkard, and not very competent at his job, and the economy faltered, and so on and so forth.
Any man alone is a buffoon. Yeah, he was alone. Dang. He, well, and Putin's not a buffoon because he's not alone, right? He covers for the oligarchy, so of course he's not a buffoon. Xi Jinping does it. Well, Xi Jinping is China's strongman. Yes. He's not a buffoon because he has the whole CCP covering for him, and he's ousted anybody who won't.
And so did Putin.
Well, the CCP actually ousted those who don't. So he ousted who wasn't like good for him for a while, and then the machine takes a hold of itself. So Putin did that. We don't have that in the States. We kind of have an oligarchy. Biden certainly. Like, I don't.
But we have a hidden oligarchy. You go out here and ask 99% of the people in Florence whether we have an oligarchy in this country. What's an oligarchy?
Yeah, that's right. For those who could, if you know what an oligarchy is, you'd say yeah.
You'd say yeah.
Right. But not many people do. Oh my gosh. But the voting public is not that much of a factor in determining who gets the seats of power. I mean, it's enough of a factor to throw a monkey wrench in there every once in a while, like 2016, but not anymore. That stuff's on lock. It's muzzled up. It's like It is whatever we say it is, guys.
Well,
It is, look, about the voter fraud thing, I fully accept that Donald Trump legitimately, legally, in every sense of the word, lost that election.
yes.
But the rules of that game were rigged by the time he had to run. They changed the law. They changed the rules. If you allow for one party to change the rules of the game that you're playing as you're playing it, you do not have an election. You have a power struggle. That's what we had. Donald Trump pissed off too many special interest groups. All of them, in fact. I can't think of a single one that wasn't pissed at Donald Trump. And look, just watch how the next 4 years plays out. It's already coming into place. Biden's already shut down the Keystone XL pipeline. That oil stuff, look, I've been calling the shots with oil because it's a very simple, well-oiled machine. It's a very simple machine. You can pretty well see what's going on with oil. But my bet is we're going to say to hell with Venezuela and back to how it was before we were trying to jackal them out. That's my bet. It's a pretty safe bet. It means gas prices are going to go way up. Oil stocks are going to go up. You know why oil stocks go up? It's not because oil companies start making more money. They kind of do. What really does it is when the gas price goes up, idiot hedge funds can't help but buy that stock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what does it. They're not after your money at the pump. They're after the hedge fund money. Because that's what drives up the stock price. That's what makes those CEOs rich. Because they have all those stock options. And yeah, the stock does go up because of growth in revenue and other types of things that you can measure, but that's how wealth gets allocated. But discussing derivatives and how screwed up the financial system is a whole different multi-hour discussion on just how messed up derivatives are. Like really quick though, it's so fascinatingly absurd how derivative markets work. So there was this little game online called agar.io. You're like a little dot and you eat other dots and it's multiplayer and it's like it became kind of popular. The owner of agar.io is, I believe, JP Morgan right now. And the story of how JP Morgan ended up owning something that it has no clue it even owns is fascinating. If you're like a tech startup, most tech startups are not fully monetized. They have to take on investment money in order to grow because they don't make a profit until like year 5, maybe, if they ever make a profit. Twitter has never made a profit. Amazon tries not to make a profit. So if you're one of these tech startup people, you know, some 20-something-year-old hoodie-wearing kid, there are banks in California that specialize in collateralized lines of credit to those people. You collateralize some of your stock, and we'll give you a line of credit, $40+ million a year for your jet or whatever. And those collateralized loans are packaged up into financial assets, much like the mortgage crisis of 2008. You buy these stock options and these collateralized loans that are being paid back just like mortgages. And they're sold as securities on the open market, where investors like JP Morgan and Finch buy them.
Okay.
And then when those idiot startup kids default on their loans, the collateralized stuff kicks in, and now all of a sudden JP Morgan and Finch own some web app that they don't even know anything about, and they own dozens of them and all kinds of random crap in the tech world. That's how JP Morgan and Finch, in a roundabout way, gets invested into tech. They don't really try to. It's just something that they buy as some security somewhere, derivative security. Mm-hmm. So that blew my mind, because that is like an extraordinarily exploitable system where like suppose that you start a tech startup with good stuff and you intended to default, right? Could you take out the loan that was collateralized so it's no fault if it fails, because most of them fail. That's why it's collateralized to begin with. So what if you collateralize it with a number of stocks, and then in your bylaws you can dilute those stocks and then shaft JP Morgan and Finch? There's so many ways you can just go at that, like the recent GameStop stocks. Oh, that was great. Where Reddit found out they could short squeeze all of these hedge funds, and then immediately the oligarchy goes in like, okay, you can only sell those stock. You're not allowed to buy it anymore. No more Robinhood. Also, propagandists go in. Reddit's a whore. Reddit will let you, if you're the CCP and you don't want them to post about Hong Kong stuff, Reddit will sell that out to you. If you are the Donald and r/the Donald, the subreddit, you're out. Right? we're for free speech, kind of, but only the free speech that we like. You're out. So now in Wall Street Bets, there's a lot of diversion tactics, like invest in Dogecoin. So they know there's like a small investment pool of money that common plebeian folks can use. So if they spread that out to a bunch of different things instead of just one or two stocks, then it's got no teeth. So that's one tactic they're trying to do. It's been absurd. A lot of Wall Street's profits come from, this is how sausage is made. So a lot of Wall Street's profits come from people who are gambling on the stock market, day traders. Most of them, 97% of them lose money.
Yeah.
So Robinhood allows you to trade for free because they sell all of their analytics data to the companies that make the algorithms that screw you on all your trades. Robinhood is the best joke there is. Take from the rich to give to the poor. No, it's take from the poor to give to the rich. It's the exact opposite. You see the true colors all the time. It's like Fox News being a conservative network. It's like, oh, really? No, they're a network that panders to the conservative audience. They're not a conservative network. So we're learning that truth about Robinhood and about these people that have PR like budgets and crap like that. But that's me blabbering. I am trying to be more of a better listener like you are.
Well, I'm all talked out.
Me too. Let's call it. Ugh.
It was a long day today, actually.
Yeah.